Well, hi everyone. Welcome to the Uncorked Corner podcast. I'm Nick, here as always with my co-host Bianca. Bianca, what the hell are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about some cool cocktails that, I shouldn't say cool, I should say absolutely bizarre cocktails that Nick and I have decided to concoct.
Hey, whoa,
with some
whoa,
very
whoa,
random
whoa, whoa,
ingredients.
whoa, whoa. The cocktail that I picked, while it is something different than I've ever had before, was put together by our friend J.M. Hirsch. And it's
Okay.
in his book Shake Strain Done. So
So that's
I don't want
normal.
to call it
Mine's
bizarre
not
and weird,
normal.
but I haven't tried it yet. So
Just
we'll
me.
see.
Okay. We also are going to talk about a couple of recipes that we have tested recently, and then we're going to get into a short segment with our friends at BearMoose Brewing in Everett. So, Nick, why don't you get us started talking about this cocktail that you look like you're enjoying? I'm pretty sure you are. Everything I've tried from J.M. Hirsch is good, so I'm going to assume it's good.
Starting with the cocktail so we can get started on drinking, although we already recorded a podcast tonight, so or at least I've already been drinking. I wanted to do a whiskey cocktail tonight. Shocker. So I started flipping through. I picked Shake Strain Done off my bookshelf, and I went to the whiskey section, and I marked, you can see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cocktails that I had the ingredients for on hand tonight that I wanted to try to make. Not all tonight. I will spread them out. But I did land on one.
That would be ambitious.
And it is called the French Sap.
Nice.
This one is warm with a fresh finish. Proceed with caution when using maple syrup as a sweetener, as it easily overpowers other ingredients. In this case, however, it is perfectly balanced with the peppery rye, as in rye whiskey, while the cognac adds a complexity that complements the maple, and the egg white adds a light creaminess without feeling heavy. The ingredients: 2.5 ounces of rye whiskey. I used Putnam Rye from Boston Harbor Distilling. 1 ounce of cognac. I had some Remy Martin VSOP. 1/2 ounce of maple syrup, run amok maple syrup.
Yum.
Hey, do you see a trend here? Almost every ingredient has incorporated one of our previous guests. So thank you, everyone.
You went up to me.
1/2 ounce of egg whites, although we haven't had a chicken farmer rancher on yet. Those came from Hannaford.
Not quite yet.
Dash of Angostura bitters and ice cubes. In a cocktail shaker, combine the rye, cognac, maple syrup, egg white, and bitters. Shake with ice cubes, strain into a coupe. I don't have a coupe yet, so I just used a normal whiskey tumbler.
Same.
And it's not as pretty without the coupe, but it sure is tasty. So, in tasting this, it's very smooth, and the ingredients all blend together so well that if you handed me this without me knowing what was in it, I don't think I could tell you what was in it. It definitely is its own drink.
So it's not too boozy.
No, it's strong. It's 2.5 ounces of rye whiskey, so it's pretty strong. And
it's that maple syrup. It gets you. It's like sneaky in there.
That's it. Yeah, it's sweet. It's definitely got a lot of sweetness, but it's not like, I don't feel like I'm tasting just straight up maple syrup.
It's probably better than my cocktail.
Tell us about your cocktail, Bianca.
No one wants to hear about my cocktail.
I'm excited to hear about this one, especially because you said it's so bizarre.
If anybody remembers, we did an episode, or I don't even know if it was an episode, but it was a Instagram post where Nick made a martini with pickled jalapenos. Well, I decided to make my favorite gin cocktail, which is gin fizz, and it's a recipe that I put together this summer. It's a very easy recipe. It's just gin, tonic, lemon juice, and simple syrup.
You invented this?
Super easy. It's only 3 ingredients. It was easy. I just tossed some stuff together until it tasted good, you know?
That's why I'm calling bluff on you inventing it.
I'm sure it's in the universe. Okay. All right.
And did you name it the gin fizz?
The gin fizz is a thing, but I made it with the Empress gin, so it's purple.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So to throw it off, because I had none of the ingredients except for the gin, and that gin is, I think, a little smoother and a little sweeter, and I just didn't really feel like I had the right ingredients for it. I decided to use the gin Farallon, the Holywood and Cask
Oh boy.
Gin. Okay, so we use this gin.
It's a good gin.
It's a good gin.
I do
It
like
is
that
very
gin.
good gin. I did taste it before I made the cocktail. So we had 2 ounces of that in there. We got a half an ounce of simple syrup. We've got tonic water because that always is the thing you top it off with. And to really shake it up, because I had no lemons and I had no limes and I had no lemon or lime juice, we used the juice from my pickled sweet peppers. It's very strange. Those sweet peppers are delicious, and I could drink the juice on its own. So that's a whole nother story, but it's actually not half bad.
Now, from someone that's made cocktails with the brine juice from a jar of peppers before,
Yes,
can make a pretty good cocktail.
it's not bad. I used too much of the juice, so I can't taste enough of the gin. So I did have to go back and add a little more gin and tonic and take out a little bit. Well, drink a little bit of the pepper.
To backpedal on my statement a little bit, though, it's a weird combination.
It's a weird combination.
So, run me through the ingredients again. So, holy wooden cask, barrel on gin, pickle brine from sweet peppers.
Yes. Yep.
What else?
Tonic water.
Tonic water. So that doesn't
And
really add flavor. That's
half an ounce of simple syrup.
That's just sugar. So,
which retroactively, I don't think I would have put in there because I think it's actually too sweet because the sweet peppers are semi-sweet. It's not like drinking pickle juice. They're a little sweeter anyway. So I would probably not do the simple syrup. Maybe some sort of a bitter to bring out a little bit of a stronger taste. But if you ever drink pickled pepper juice, you know that it has a very distinct flavor. So it actually is not bad with the gin. I won't say it's bad. It's not bad. It's probably needs to be worked on a little bit, just a little bit. But
it wouldn't be my base liquor of choice for that. I feel like that would go better with a tequila.
probably. However, it is drinkable, and just to be extra, I did stick a couple of oregano sprigs on the top. So
Wow, look at you.
we're not fancy tonight.
It's pretty fancy with the oregano on top. It's a lot fancier than what I have.
It's sweet.
The best part about this is that, as you can see in the camera here, it is almost the same color as a whiskey.
I thought it
So-
was whiskey when I saw it.
No, it's not. But you could look like you're drinking whiskey while you're really drinking on a nice sweet. I mean, there is whiskey in it, to be honest, but it's a cocktail and it's very sweet
How that
and
works.
very tasty. Anyway,
Even though our special guest tonight is a brewer, Nick and I just totally left field and got off another distiller.
Listen,
podcast,
listen,
which we'll keep a
listen,
secret,
listen.
But
we don't have to match our cocktails to our guest every week. I don't think we need to do that.
I don't know if I'm cool enough to make a beer cocktail. I really don't. I don't know if I am. But I did make a beer recipe, which we were going to jump into next. So we can, or not beer recipes, but recipes. So
Before we do that, I have made one beer cocktail before.
yeah,
And I made it. It was some sort of variation of a dark and stormy that included beer. It was like ginger beer and lime and rum and regular beer.
I was going to say ginger beer.
I think so was in it. No, it was regular beer in it too.
Okay.
And it had
Sounds a little odd too.
I wanted to do a rum cocktail at that time because it was pirates and it had a piratey name to it. I don't remember what the name is this time, but I did it for the Buccaneers Tom Brady Super Bowl last year. And it is a big week for that this week. So I might have to, I don't know if I'm allowed to revisit that as a Patriots fan though. Tom Brady coming back, but it's going to be a lot of, it's going to be a lot of conflicting. Of course we do, but what's going to happen? You a Patriots fan or you a Tom Brady and Gronk fan?
You can.
Who are you going to root for?
You don't have to pick.
It's not going to end in a tie. So you're either going to be happy one way and sad the other, or
doesn't
happy
mean you
both
can't
ways.
still enjoy watching them play.
No, I'm going to enjoy it. Probably. Maybe. It's going to be weird though.
Just drinking up the cocktails and you won't even remember.
Yeah. Luckily the game's not till 8:20, so we'll be able to have plenty of a head start.
That's exactly right.
So to get you back on your train there, you mentioned a food recipe that you came up with that actually has beer in it. So go
This
ahead
is my
and fill us
first
out.
time making a recipe from scratch. So I didn't use any recipe. I made my own. I figured the easiest thing to try this with was chili because you can't really screw up chili if you use the right base ingredients. So, if you've ever made a chili before, you kind of know. I just
I
went
don't
a
know.
little
I don't kind of know. Tell me what the base ingredients are.
in my chili.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what kind of chili you're making. But if you're making a traditional, like darker chili, you got tomatoes, you got beef broth. And then for my base, instead of using more of the broth, I used a can of Fiddlehead IPA. And seems a little weird, but not really, I don't think. And I have heard wine's good in chili, but I just really had this IPA that you gave me sit in the fridge. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to put some of this. I drank the other half of it, but I did put 8 ounces in the pot because it was a big can. And it was really good.
If I recall, I believe that was Fiddlehead Second Fiddle Double IPA, right?
It was, yeah.
Yep.
And I thought it would be weird putting beer in there, but I had.
That's if you're gonna put any
No.
beer in there, that's a pretty strong, like flavored beer to put in there.
You would be surprised. It was probably one of the best chilies that I've had. It will go live on our website when the website's up and running again. So you can try it at home. But it was definitely one of my favorite chilies I've ever had. And I made it. So it might be a little biased. It had a lot of spices. It had really, really good flavor. And Paul and I always put tons of toppings on it, avocado and cheese and lots of red onion because I prefer red onion to yellow onion when it's in a dish like that. And ground beef. It was very good.
The only thing that I've cooked from scratch this week, and I guess this will be the
This
recipe.
week. This is the only thing I've ever cooked from scratch. Ever.
Well, for like an actual recipe, I don't know if I do that a ton either, but a lot of times I'll just improvise and I'll just throw a bunch of spices in a pot with whatever I'm making and hope it works.
Yep.
And it usually does.
Usually does.
2 things today, actually, that changes it up. I did 2 this week. I made chicken, which I do on pretty much a weekly basis. I buy a whole chicken and I roast it in the oven in a big pot and I cover it nice coating of butter. See a nice crispy skin, salt, pepper, and what I used this week was this spice rub that I have called Cajun Foreplay. That's like a Cajun spice rub. It's got peppers and different things, and that makes a very tasty chicken. And the heat that I cooked it on was, I believe, 375, if I'm not mistaken. Takes a couple hours to get it up to temperature, go up to that 165, and you'll never have a more perfectly cooked, nice moist chicken than when you do it like that. It's so perfect. I took a bite of it and I looked at Alex. I was like, this is the best chicken I've ever had. I've never put chicken like this. I've never made it like that before. It was the best. But to keep rolling on that train as well, I make potatoes. I make potatoes, 2 different things. And these are my typical go-to breakfast potatoes. I get the yellow gold Yukon potatoes. I cube them up nice and small.
We all like potatoes.
Yep. Put them in a little skillet, little frying pan with some olive oil, salt, pepper. But this week I decided to change up instead of just doing salt and pepper like I normally do. Garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, coriander, salt and black pepper. And then saute them up for a bit, high heat, get them a little bit crispy on the outside. Turn down the heat to like medium on the stovetop. Put a cover on them. Just let them sit there and get nice and steamed up and nice and soft. And then turn back up the heat after a little bit, like 10 minutes or so. Crisp them back up again. Threw it in breakfast burritos with some eggs and some cheese and some tortillas. Speaking of which, I need to find somewhere that I can get good, like Mexican restaurant, big burrito tortillas that actually wrap well and stick, the good stuff, because they don't make them like that in the supermarkets around here. So I got to find a place that I can get those. But
make your own.
I thought of it. Could. Although that is something I've never done before. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about it. I don't know if I have the proper equipment to make tortillas.
You probably need like a crepe pan, right? I don't know. What else would you make them in? Like one of those big flat. I don't know. I know nothing about tortillas.
I don't know. That's why I haven't made them.
You should
Wish
do
I could
it.
tell you.
That's your next task.
You got to figure it out. But for an actual recipe that I'm bringing in here, and I know we discussed this one slightly right before we jumped on here, because you decided you were going to pick a recipe that you were going to make, and you decided on almost the exact same thing that I was going to make today. So I found a no-knead skillet focaccia bread that is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of dry instant yeast, which I didn't have, and rosemary, which I also didn't have. So I did not make this yet because I have to go buy those ingredients. 3/4 of a cup of lukewarm water, and 3 tablespoons plus 3 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil and flaky sea salt. And it looked delicious. And that is the next thing that I will be making once I get the ingredients. And what was the bread that you found that you thought was so unique that you wanted to try making?
I didn't think it was unique. It just looks good. It's a rosemary and olive oil bread, and it's also for dummies like myself who can't make a sourdough. So it's anybody who knows me knows I've tried to make sourdough umpty 9 times, and I've continued to fail over and over again. So we will be making a no-knead white bread with rosemary and olive oil.
Sounds almost exactly like.
It's not a focaccia though, so it's.
Why isn't it a focaccia?
Well, I'm pretty sure a focaccia is a different style bread. It's more of like a flat, bubbly bread. This bread is more of like a loaf.
So basically, you're just not flattening it out in the pan like I am.
Yeah, it's just the way it's cooked.
So different.
My guess would be that a focaccia is more fluffy.
I always thought focaccias had cheese on them. I was shocked to discover
I thought they did it also.
Maybe that's just different focaccias that we've had. I don't know.
Nobody said you couldn't put cheese on it. I mean, cheese makes everything better.
Not going to disagree with you there.
It's just a fact. I mean, you can't deny it.
So that's we both came up with some good recipes this week. We've both had some drinks in us, but I have found some fun food news topics for us to talk about this week.
Oh boy.
And I want to get your reactions on them.
Okay.
So let's start with this one. McDonald's, every now and again, they bring this back. A lot of these fast food restaurants do this where they'll release an item and then pull it back and take it away. And then they'll have a big event. Hey, it's back. Like 6 months later. And it's all a big surprise, and everyone's happy, and everyone rushes out and goes and buys. Remember Popeye's chicken sandwich? Burger King came out with a fancy chicken sandwich. Taco Bell is infamous for this with their nacho fries, with the release and re-release. But I think the OG release and re-release is the McRib from McDonald's. And McDonald's is bringing back the McRib again for its 40th anniversary. And I wanted to ask you, Bianca, have you ever had a McRib?
I don't eat fast food. That's a big statement. Okay, so I eat fast food. I eat Starbucks and Dunkin', and I like Wendy's on occasion, but I don't eat at McDonald's. The only thing I've ever really got at McDonald's is fries. So I have not had McRib.
So you don't not eat fast food. You just go to McDonald's and just get fries.
I'm very selective, and I wouldn't go buy them myself. It'd be like if somebody else was going, I'd be like, just get me fries.
Well, you need to step up your fast food game, because you're not going to like any of these stories because they are all pertaining to fast food.
I also don't really like ribs, so I don't know if I'd like the McRib. I'd much prefer like a short rib.
I'm calling bullshit on that. You don't like ribs?
You never noticed I never eat ribs at barbecues.
I don't know how many barbecues I've had with you where you've had.
You've made ribs, and I have tried them because you made them, but they're messy, and I prefer to just eat the meat off.
Okay. So you don't not like ribs. You don't like to get messy.
Yeah, they're just a process to eat. If I have to go through a whole process to eat it, I don't really want to do it.
Just worry about that later. How do you think I feel with this beer? You think it's not a process to clean this out after I eat anything? You ever seen me after a bag
That's
of
why I've
potato chips?
chosen to shave lately. I just try to
Is
keep
that
the
it?
stuff out of my beard. Yeah, the beard was getting a lot of hand. It's a little
Well,
tough.
I guess we'll keep rolling on with these fast food stories. Now, I know one thing that you can relate to that you might like is smartphones, because you're always on social media. You run our Instagram account. I know you have a hard time pulling yourself away from that cell phone of yours. But what if I told you that you could be the new owner of a Wendy's smartphone? You did say you like Wendy's sometimes.
Is it an iPhone?
It is a Wendy's smartphone.
It's not an iPhone though.
It is not, but it is a red colored phone.
A Wendy's
That
iPhone,
features-
maybe.
Hold on. It features a 6.4-inch touchscreen, a rear-facing triple camera system, and a fingerprint sensor on the back.
I don't know why Wendy's wants to have a smartphone.
Well, the fun thing about it is that it integrates, instead of having a Siri in it, you have Wendy in it, and you can use it to order your food straight from the Wendy's mobile app,
Of course.
just with the touch of a button.
Wow. That's exactly what I've always wanted.
So they're giving this away on Twitter. All you have to do is go on Twitter and I don't know, whatever you have to do to win a giveaway on it. I've never won anything like that. But the bottom line is you could have a sweet Wendy's phone that will allow you to order your Wendy's with the touch of a button pretty soon. If you're the lucky winner of this device. Now, to be fair, they did not invent this phone. It is a Samsung Galaxy S11 with the Wendy's skin on it and a special operating system that's redone to make it a Wendy's device, and everything about it just screams that beautiful red and white. We don't cut corners. And that's probably why they chose to go with Samsung, because they don't cut corners and the phones are better than the iPhones. I could see myself having a Wendy's phone.
You also had a Samsung though, so I feel like you're a little biased.
Yeah, exactly. So I get to leave the iPhone life and go back to my Samsung, which I like better. And then with the quick touch of the button on the side, I could have myself a Baconator and some fries and a Dr. Pepper. And snap.
You probably get really fat.
Probably.
Way too much Wendy's. No, I like Wendy's sometimes, but that sounds like too much Wendy's, I think. Wendy's is like a drunken night kind of outing for me.
So if you are choosing fast food, let's say you don't have a choice, you have to get fast food, you're out on a long drive, late at night, all that's open are the fast food joints.
It's happened, yep.
Do you get a burger or a chicken sandwich?
I've never had a burger at a fast food restaurant.
So you're a chicken sandwich.
So I always get a chicken sandwich, specifically the bacon Asiago ranch at Wendy's. Always the same sandwich.
You know what you could use to order that sandwich?
No, my new smartphone.
Your new smartphone.
That I'm gonna win.
You get on that Twitter when it, but you might be excluded because I believe they're only releasing them in Canada.
No, well that's
jump over the border.
That's pretty rude because
maybe there's not as many fat people up there.
Okay, maybe not. They don't have to worry about the obesity epidemic.
Now, if I had to give you a choice, chicken sandwich or taco, what would you choose?
From where?
Just answer my question.
Is it fast food taco?
Yes.
I'm not going to Taco Bell. So
what if I told you
that
you no longer have to choose between a chicken sandwich and a taco? Because Taco Bell has released a chicken sandwich taco. This beautiful, beautiful, delectable food item has a nice...
Is it like 1/2 of a bun with like a half of a chicken patty on it?
It has pillowy bread that reminds you of a pleasantly chewy pita or a sliced toasted bao bun. There's briny pickled jalapenos that distinguish the spicy version from the regular. That you can get a regular without the jalapenos in it. Yeah, delicious, delicious fried chicken from the trusty Taco Bell that we know I frequent. Slapped into a nice fluffy pillowy bun. And then served.
Pillowy bun sounds nice. I'm hungry.
And served like a taco. The perfect food for eating while you're driving in a car. Because last time I went to a McDonald's last week and I got a burger. I was in the dark and I'm driving. And when I was sitting in the car, I was eating it. And all of the ketchup and mustard, without me knowing, was falling all over my lap and all over my seat out of the back end. That would not happen with a Taco Bell chicken taco.
I'm sure it wouldn't.
And to sweeten the pot, pretty soon, our final food news of the day, you can soon pay for your Taco Bell with Dogecoin.
Soon you're gonna be able to pay for everything with Dogecoin. So
yeah, that's the goal of new partnership between crypto payment processor BitPay and Verifone Inc.
I'm sure it is.
You will be able to go to any of these large national chains and use your crypto to buy whatever you wish. Specifically a cheesy gordita crunch.
That's exactly what I want, is to
if you go at breakfast time, you can get
gordita crunch with Dogecoin.
If you go to breakfast time, you can get yourself a breakfast crunch wrap. Some steak, or you could do a sausage one. It's delicious stuff. Missing out. No, you don't bet because you don't go. You specifically said to me about 5 minutes ago, as long as it's not Taco Bell, because you won't go to Taco Bell.
I don't know.
You're missing out on all this fun stuff.
I used to get the mall Taco Bell when we were younger, and it threw me off, and I've never wanted Taco Bell.
That Taco Bell was just as good as it is now, if not better.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Just because the meat comes out of a tube doesn't mean it's not meat.
See, I looked this up once, and it said that their meat did not, in fact, come out of a tube. So I don't know if that's even true anymore.
Well, it came out of a bag for sure. Like one of those things that they use to put icing on a cake. You know, you squeeze up that bag, cut off the end, and
so they got around the tube technicality.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's ground beef. I'm sure it's not like fake beef, but they're putting it in this thing and they're squeezing it out, and they can put it perfectly in line. Put it in a nice hard taco shell, inside a nice gordita soft shell. Put some cheese in between, heat it up, put some spicy mayo on it and some lettuce. You hear what I'm going with this? You know what I'm describing?
No.
The perfect food item. Best thing ever made.
Cheesy gordita crunch.
There you go. You just said it. This just in. Bianca thinks the cheesy gordita crunch is the perfect food item.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. That's going to be the headline.
Although I will try your cheesy gordita crunch. So let's not completely rule it out as one of the best food items, because I will still try yours, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's the best. I don't know.
Maybe. But it didn't come from this brain. I just copied it so I could enjoy it more often. Came from the beautiful, beautiful minds out there in the Taco Bell test kitchens.
Of course.
Same minds that brought you the chicken fries, and the same minds that brought you the crispy chicken sandwich taco.
But not the same minds that are, I don't know, brewers can be kind of crazy, but, you know, not the same minds that are going to be taking us into our cool IPAs and our really neat brews. They're a little different. They're not as fun.
But those minds, I'm sure are fueled by Taco Bell.
That's, you know what? Next time we have a brewer on, I'm going to ask them, what's your favorite fast food? And if they say Taco Bell, I give you $50.
I'll take that. I'm gonna hand select our next brewer guest. I'm gonna find a Taco Bell lover.
Oh, well, that's cheating. I'm gonna find the most random brewer and I might even retroactively go back and ask somebody else, what's your favorite fast food? And just see what they say.
I don't know if I like this game. I don't know if there's enough Taco Bell lovers.
I don't know. I bet there are. It's too late to ask him, but we will be segueing into our episode right after this.
Well, anyway, thank you all for listening, and enjoy this coming up interview with Drew from BearMoose.
And enjoy a beer while you're listening to it. Four Corner podcast. Today we are excited to welcome Drew Gilman from BearMoose Brewing in Everett, Massachusetts. If you can introduce yourself and tell us more about your background and how you got started, that would be awesome.
Yep. I'm Drew Gilman, owner of BearMoose Brewing. How did I get started? So I've been brewing since a sophomore in college. I figured out, if I can't buy beer, I can brew it. So I started doing that. Kind of started with a small homebrew kit. Did the extract brewing, moved to all grain. Got a little more into it, and eventually that hobby turned into a profession.
That's awesome. So you've been doing this for a while now. What were the first, I guess, styles of beer that you started brewing when you were home brewing? And
so ales. They're easy. I didn't do my first lager until right before I opened. Honestly, because without temperature control, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get a good product. So ales, but you can do hundreds of different styles. So keep yourself busy for years.
And BearMoose is an interesting combination, and so is your logo. We got a little fused animal there. So what is the story behind the logo, and how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so come to find out, it's actually a thing. So bear and moose kind of go together. So my parents have two dogs, right? Bear and moose. And I'm like, all right, looking for a name when you start up. Bit of a challenge, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's BearMoose. That sounds cool. Then I've had people, and I'll get somebody maybe once a month who will come in and be like, hey, my dogs are Bear and Moose, or my cats are Bear and Moose, my kids' nicknames are Bear and Moose, or I love Moose, I love bears, that kind of thing. So I'm like, I had no idea it was a thing.
It definitely catches on, gives you a cool logo. So
yeah, thank you.
It's a fun one. How long have you guys been around as a brewery now?
Just a little over 2 years. So 2.25 years. Yes, we opened late June of 2019. So so we had a couple of months before the pandemic.
Awesome. And when you opened, did you have a particular type of beer that you wanted to kind of be your general style that you do? Like, did you go for more of those ales and stick kind of where you started with, or a lot of these typical East Coast breweries, a lot of them are doing, it's crazy right now, IPAs and double IPAs, like that's what's in style. Do you do more of that stuff or more just traditional ales?
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a traditionalist as it is with my brewing style. When we opened, the main goal is really to have a bit of variety. So a New England IPA, a pale ale, a stout, porter, like an amber and a brown, I recall. A handful of beers, but little bit of something for everybody. One thing that I've learned is people just have varying tastes, and somebody likes this, but they don't like that, and vice versa. I've since expanded, so I have a couple of New England IPAs. I actually have a couple of lagers that I've done. I have an Oktoberfest that I just put on for the season. The Pilsner that I did over the summer. I like some of the Belgians. I do a sour, like a lambic style. Belgian pale, saison, this and that. So I'm kind of all over the place. Getting into some of the darker beers right now, just for the time of year. But then I'll start to rip a little bit. Try out some new things. Do some experimental batches over the next couple months.
All of which sound very good. And I know Nick's visited before, so Nick has a feeling for the tap room. And we've heard all sorts of great things from other people. But one thing is the Everett community has really been bustling when it comes to distilleries and breweries and all sorts of craft spirits. So what is your favorite part about being in that community? I know you started there and it's still relatively building, and it's always something new popping up.
Yeah, there's always something new. My favorite part, I think it's the camaraderie, and just being able to walk into one of the bar places and just talk to one of the owners, just like, we're all on the same level. We all respect each other. We all know each other, so help each other out. So it's it's a close community. So I'd say that's my favorite part. Yeah.
It's awesome. And it's a really, really nice, spacious location that you have in there. Tell us a little bit about that, how you landed on that spot to start the brewery.
Yeah, it's a Craigslist ad. for warehouse space. It said warehouse space, call Tom. So, but Everett, being Everett with the other breweries, at least when we opened, we had Down the Road, we had Mystic over in Chelsea, Night Shift on up, Idle Hands, not too far from here up in Malden. So being in this area, Everett, is obviously desirable to kind of be a part of the brewery scene that's kind of popping up here. Because people will come, we'll go to one brewery and kind of hop around. So it was a bit of luck getting in here, but yeah, mostly luck, honestly. But yeah, being in Everett's awesome. Couldn't ask for a better location.
To dig into the tap list a little bit, do you have any beers that are staples that are always on your menu, or is it always a rotating selection?
Yeah, no. So I have the Dewdropper, which is my favorite, and I'll brew it for myself year round just because I like to drink it. So I brew that for myself, and it's actually become our flagship. It's our most popular beer, honestly. And then I'll have a couple of New England IPAs. So I'll flip flop between Galactic Haze and Hop Train, which are newer New England IPAs that I put on that people seem to like. So I think the Galactic is a little more popular than Hop Train. And then I'm just looking right now. Then I'll keep the illegal pour on year round because I actually have people come in like all throughout the year who are like, oh, I don't like light beers. I just like dark beers. So yeah, just to keep something on.
My girlfriend's definitely that way as well. Whenever we go, I'm up here in Maine. We have a local brewery called Mass Landing, and they make a peanut butter milk stout. And that's the only beer she'll drink. So whenever we go out, that's the one she jumps to because she likes that. It's more of a dessert. It's sweet. It's not really super hoppy or anything like that. And for someone that's not into that, that's a good go-to beer. So it's nice to have that always in the menu.
Oh yeah. And then everything else that just kind of rotate around or I'll riff on. Try to keep the variety there.
And I saw right now you have one called Oh My Gourd. That's a pumpkin spice ale. That's a nice seasonal one for this time of the year. How's that one been doing?
It's been doing well. I'm actually brewing it right now, so I'm just at the boil stage. So I'm waiting for the wort to boil right now. So yeah, so I've been doing that all day. But it's been selling well. It's the most popular beer we have this time of the year. We'll rip right through it.
People love pumpkin.
and I'm biased, but I think mine's pretty good.
There you go. And another thing that I love about your brewery and the space that you have there is the dog friendliness. So I know this is a big week for you. Coming this weekend, you had, I think it was called the Dog On Weekend. You're going to have some different dog events, and you're friendly inside, outside for people to bring their dogs. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we are. So we don't serve food, so we can have dogs inside. Kind of a little niche for us, being one of the only or few breweries in the area, at least in north of Boston, that'll allow dogs. January, February when it's cold out, so people can come with their dogs. We have dog bowls, dog water. I think we have some doggy treats that we give out. So yeah, definitely dog friendly. And then so we're kind of capitalizing on that this weekend. So we came up with a couple of events that we're going to do Friday and Saturday. We were going to go all weekend, but then we realized Sunday was the Patriots Buccaneers game. We're like, can't compete with that. So, but Friday we're going to have a new beer release. So I brewed 2 beers for this weekend. So a chocolate stout, we're going to call it the Black Lab Chocolate Stout. And then brown ale, so the Brown Beagle Brown Ale. So they'll release those on Friday, and then Saturday we'll have a caricature guy come in to get a caricature with your dog. I'm gonna have a photo shoot, and I'm just looking at the event board, and then so doggy costume contest photo shoot. And then we'll have a couple people come in to give us some samples of food. I think we'll have a rescue come in, bring a couple of dogs to show, hand out some information. So trying to make a thing out of it. So come check it out.
Doggy costume sounds fun. I don't have a dog, so I don't know if it'd be a little weird for me to pop in there, but I mean, I might come anyway. Rent a dog for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
You've also mentioned that you have an Oktoberfest, and we're talking about doggy costumes, so we're getting towards Halloween. October is this weekend, which is absolutely crazy, but when it comes to Oktoberfest, it's so big in the brewing space. are you doing anything else for the fall? And do you usually see a lot more attraction of people coming in for Oktoberfest and for Halloween?
So this will be the first year that I put an Oktoberfest on. Actually, the first time I've ever brewed it. I will do an actual Oktoberfest event next year because I think we're already past that. But for October, we're actually partnering up with some of the other breweries, Aeronaut, which is in Everett now, Night Shift, Bone Up, and then Short Path, the distiller. So we're going to kind of team up and do a beer crawl. And it's going to be Halloween weekend. So what we're going to do is each brewery will curate a flight of beers and then pair them with a piece of candy. And then we'll have a little grab bag of little knickknacks that people can grab on their way out and get a little stamp on a card. So yeah, so trying to make an event out of that too.
Yeah, with so many good breweries in the area, that sounds like it would be perfect fit for really anybody. And I feel like there's apartments and condos and homes popping up all over the place. So you're going to have quite the crowd.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Some people will walk around and I'm sure some people will dress up. So that'd be cool.
Definitely. You'll have to have a free beer giveaway for the best costume that you see come through.
You're going to have to dress up too, though. You have a costume already?
No, I don't. I'm terrible at coming up with costumes. I'm a brewer.
I mean, it fits.
Yeah.
So for anybody, you started home brewing pretty early
Yep.
for all sorts of reasons, fun reasons. But for anybody who's thinking about starting to get into home brewing, we've talked about this on our podcast a little bit, but it's been a while. What would be your quick advice for somebody who's thinking about starting to brew at home?
It's easy. So it's way easier. You just need to get the kit. So the kit, I would recommend going to a home brew store to get the starting with the extracts, get the 5-gallon kit. I think it's just looking around to see if I have my buckets. But there are a couple out there. I think Brewer's Best, this or that. But one of those kits has everything you need. You get the extract, you get the hops, the yeast. Take about an hour or two, and 2 weeks later you have some pretty good beer. And those are actually pretty cool, and they've come a long way since I started doing it. So the kits are, get the variety at least that you have out there, which is pretty cool. There's some great homebrew stores right around Boston as well. I think going up into Woburn, and then in Cambridge, if you're in the area, great place to hit up. And it's not expensive. I think I spent $100 to get started. So there you go.
$100 went a long way for you.
Yeah.
$100 to a nice warehouse.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. What do you guys like for beers? What are some of your favorite styles?
So I started my, beer journey that really got me into tasting craft beers was actually Blue Moon, the Belgians.
Okay.
So that kind of sprung me down this path that, all right, there's something to this. Let me try some different ones. So I started looking more locally. Being from Boston or from Melrose, Night Shift is a local one that I started with years ago. Whirlpool became one of my favorites. That's definitely a staple in my fridge.
Solid.
And then from there it kind of grew and I've, kind of tried whatever. I always try something new. I'll have like that Moosehead lager actually up here in Maine. I noticed don't know if that's common down there, but I'll usually keep some of that as just like a easy, drinking lager to have. And then I'll have it rotating kind of seasonally with whatever I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
But right now I've been definitely leaning towards more of the traditional styles. I got a little fatigued with the IPAs and everything. So it's been more Pilsners and things that are going to be taken out my fridge. So.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love sour beers and
Sours?
lighter. Yeah.
Okay.
I like some IPAs, nothing too crazy heavy. But I do occasionally indulge in a dark ale, which is always a good fall, winter.
Yep.
Nick's
Yeah.
a lot of new things.
Yeah, if you come check it out. So I do a sour once a year, every June. So I'll put 2 kegs out. It's kind of our anniversary beer, and kind of riff on the sour a little bit. And kind of just sour hour version 1, version 2, version 3 will be coming up next June. So. Yeah, it's a good one. And I actually just picked up a couple of barrels from Short Path, the distillery, gin barrels, which I'm thinking about utilizing for a sour for next year. So
that's pretty cool.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to hear about different not necessarily like infusions, but the way that spirits and brewers and even winemakers now are able to kind of use products from other lines and transform them into their own.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's what the industry is. It's really cool. You know, but a bunch of guys just making a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, being a whiskey fan, you see a lot of that as well with you know, a lot of the scotches and everything. They're all done in old whiskey barrels, and you know, whether you add in sherry casks or anything, you can really change the flavor. And I've seen a lot of beers that are done in whiskey. I've had a cider in tequila, but gin is definitely a new one. So gin. Yeah, so I probably do either a sour or a light beer and flavor it with berries, because it was a Maine blueberry gin. So sorry, I'm just gonna check on my boil. But you're coming with. All right, we're getting the inside scoop.
Yep. So looking okay.
Awesome. So before we wrap up here, why don't you tell us where people can find you online on your website and social media and what they can find there?
Yep. So our website, BearMooseBrewing.com. So I've keep it pretty simple. So just kind of one page with beers that we currently have on tap, and then the events that we have coming up, and then some information about the tap room, you know, pets, parking, this and that. We have a bit of a tight parking lot, so we will fill up usually on Saturdays, Friday, Saturdays, but all that information is on there, how to contact us, this or that, or events. If you want to host anything at the tap room, this and that. Our social media, so BearMoose Brewing for Facebook, and then BearMoose Brew Co. for Instagram. And a lot of our information goes through there as well. You know, we try to post daily and keep people updated on what's going on in the tap room. We actually have some pinball machines coming in 2 weeks, and then hoops, hoop game coming in next week. So trying to expand our entertainment, if you will.
Awesome.
Keep people coming back.
Great. That'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait to come visit the tap room again.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun.
Thank you so much for coming on, taking the time to talk to us tonight. We had a lot of fun. Again, can't wait to come visit and try some of those different beers that you got coming out. And I definitely have to try your pumpkin spice ale. Now you say it's the best, so
it's better than Shipyard. And we put a caramel cinnamon sugar rim on it.
Wow.
If you're coming to the tap room.
It sounds delicious.
All right,
yeah,
I'm on my way.
All right, sounds good.
Have a good night. Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.